Hi everyone, welcome to New York City. It's windy up on the roof deck. It's been raining, a little drizzly. Not too bad though. It's 6:40 p.m. in New York City. Gary, good to see you, sir. 62 Fahrenheit. Hey Tim, hey Nigel. 17 Celsius. Hey Rose, how are you doing? Hey Sam, many hugs right back at you. Sandra, always a pleasure. Good to hear that, Gary, thank you. Hey Stuart, Cindy, Dale, Richie, San Diego is in the house. Istanbul, Merhaba, the Brown is here. Michelle, Richard. Well, thank you, Sandra Lee. You're way too kind. For those of you just joining, we are in New York City. We're 37 flights up. We're up on the roof deck. That is Times Square. Off in the distance where you see those flashing lights, that is Times Square. Oh, yes, Nigel, we had a terrible accident right across the river to the left of where I'm pointing in Hoboken, New Jersey. And they had about 100 people injured. One person died. We don't know the cause yet, but it's under investigation. Hi, Joey. Good to see you, sir. Kissimmee, Florida. Thank you for being here. Hi, 244. Ron from Omaha. In the house. Slight breeze up on the roof deck. We're 37 flights up. It's 6:41 p.m., 62 Fahrenheit, 17 Celsius. But it feels colder than that. It's just a bitter chill in the air. Hey, Jamie. Congratulations on your 1 million hearts, Jamie. Well deserved, Jamie. Yes, it happened at the Hoboken train station. Rick Paul, I missed your comment. It flew right off the screen. Ask me again, Rick Paul, and thank you for being here. Hi, Ireland. Hello, Addie. Salam, right back at you. Hello, Michelle. Indeed. Am I married to a cook? I am not married to a cook. Chess! Hey! Chess and Wine. If you guys need help in the stock market, follow Chess and Wine on Twitter. He's amazing. Chess, put up some emojis so they can follow you if they need help with the stock market. Paris, comment ça va? Je vais bien, merci beaucoup. Well deserved, Jamie. Chess, put up some emojis so I can point you out to those in the stock market that need some help. Do you see the person that just said thank you, Chess and Wine? If you need help in the stock market, give Chess a follow on Twitter. Not on Periscope, on Twitter. So I'm missing some of the comments. They're flying right off the screen. Mary will always be in the building, but I'm afraid where is Rick Paul, you're bad. So let's take a walk around the roof deck. There he is, Chess and Wine with all the emojis. If you need help in the stock market, follow Chess and Wine on Twitter. So let's go ahead and walk around the roof deck. Chess, I've been doing bad in my option trading because I've been busy at work. I've been in and out of meetings and I've been missing the market and missing my sell points. But, well, I digress. Let's get back. I need to be more disciplined or stay out of the market till my meetings conclude. Let's get back into this Periscope right here. We're looking at New York City. We're now facing the Upper West Side of New York City. That is Broadway facing north. Well deserved, Cheshire, awesome. That is Broadway facing north. That double-towered building on your left is the Time Warner Center. The southern tower of the Time Warner Center is apartments. London, in the house. The northern part of the Time Warner Center is the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. Indeed, Chess, absolutely true. And I took a hit these last 2 weeks with my silly trades. I'm better than what I've been doing. I've got to hunker down and relax a little bit with my trading. That tall, dark building on your right is the Trump International Hotel and Tower. Berlin, danke for being here. For those of you who are fans of Howard Stern, he lives right in that direction in the West 60s, right off of Broadway. Now let's face the camera west. That river you see is the Hudson River. You want to marry Chess and Wine fun stuff is a very successful stock trader. I'll leave it at that. That river you see is the Hudson River. On the other side of the Hudson River is New Jersey. You might recall back in 2009, Captain Sully Sullenberger. Good to hear that, Stuart. Captain Sully Sullenberger made an emergency landing right to the left of where I just pointed. Hello, T-Bear. And they reenacted that emergency landing and made it into a film starring Tom Hanks. That film is doing quite well at the box office. It's gotten great reviews. It was released in America earlier in September, and it will be released worldwide if not already. Your aunt is called Mary. Well, please give her my best. Condell Smell, many people think that's the Twin Towers that were rebuilt after 9/11, but that's simply not true. Completely separate building, completely different architecture, completely different location. That's the Columbus Circle, Upper West Side of Manhattan. The Freedom Tower is in this direction, facing south, about 6 miles to the south and off to the west. We're going to go completely around the roof deck. I'll get more in depth as to what you're seeing, and we'll give you a 363 degree view around the roof deck. Not to my knowledge, Tim, not to my knowledge, but I've been at work all day, so I don't know all the details about who was impacted, but I know 100 people were injured. Once again, that is the Hudson River. On the other side of the Hudson River is New Jersey. That's a view facing west. Universal Studios Hollywood. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. Where is the best places to go? Now, Condell Smale, behave yourself. Now I'm going to show you the actual New Year's Eve ball that drops every New Year's Eve that you see on the news all the time. Now hold on. Let me zoom in. Hold on. I don't know how clear this is coming out, but right there, that is the actual New Year's Eve ball that drops every New Year's Eve. I can see it clear from where I'm looking, but through the iPhone it looks a little blurry. That is the, I don't cook, Sam. That is the actual New Year's Eve ball that drops on New Year's Eve. I have not seen Sully the movie, but I do intend to see it at some point. Unfortunately, a bunch of comments just all came in at one time and all flew off the screen at one time. So if I missed your comment and I did not respond, please do not take it personally. I simply didn't see it. Just ask me again. New York City is not overrated. It's a wonderful city. All of you need to come visit. Tamara, thank you for being here. I'm going to take you to Central Park right now, actually. Yeah, most New Yorkers don't cook, Gary. We order in. Let me take you to Central Park. Hi, Bangkok. Is this from my apartment building? Yes, I'm up on the roof deck of the building that I live in. Yes, Jamie. Jamie, congratulations again on 1,000,000 hearts. This is the City Spire Tower. The top half is multi-million-dollar apartments. The lower half is offices. T-Bear, thank you for being here. Hello, Canada in the house. Let's go to Central Park. Let's go to Central Park. Let me show you Central Park. Oh, Marty is a wonderful periscoper. Thank you for the kind words, B-Man. How much for airnib? Do you know airnib is illegal in apartments in New York City, but people try and sneak and do that anyway? If they get caught, they'll get evicted. Jamie, you're too kind. Jamie is a perfect example of what Periscope can do if you scope good content. Just like all of us, Jamie started with 0 followers and 1 heart, and she reached 1,000,000 hearts just yesterday or the day before. And you know what? Jamie, like me, Jamie does not ask for follows. She does not ask for hearts. She does not beg and plead people to watch her scopes. She just does it all on her own, and she went from 1 heart to 1,000,000 yesterday. So if you want to scope, just scope good content and people will find you. Trust me, Jamie's a perfect example of that. I will be silver, Hamster, because I have 58,000 followers. That's silver. If you have 100,000 followers, that's gold. Although I completely disagree with the VIP system that Periscope is installing or instituting. It should not be based on followers. It should be based on quality of content and the number of people that tune into your scope. There are Periscopers that have close to 300,000 followers and they don't get more than maybe 500 or 600 people on their scopes. Should they be a gold? I don't think so, but that's just me. And I did tweet that to Periscope, that it should be based on content, not on followers. They will ignore me and not respond, but at least I said it. I agree with you, BW. I completely agree with you. I live in Midtown Manhattan. That is the Upper East Side off in the distance. Let me start showing you where we're looking at. Bronze is 10,000, but less than 50,000, Hamster. Yes, I still, Tim, you're correct. I still have a fractured left foot, but it is doing better. Sam, drones are banned in most of Manhattan, but downtown by the Freedom Tower, you can drone in certain spots, but not here where I live. This is Central Park. Central Park is about 800. I missed that comment about I've never seen more. I apologize. Ask me again. I am not afraid of heights. Yes, content of quality is important, Daisy. That should be more qualifying than the number of followers. Yeah. You know, Marty told me that replies between people are not showing up on Periscope, but I'm seeing people reply to each other, so I don't know if that was a bug that's been fixed or not. You were just in Central Park. I go jogging in Central Park several times a week, although I fractured my foot, so I'm a little bit out of commission. Harlem, the other side of Central Park is 110th Street. All of that is the Harlem area of New York City. Now, where the trees begin below, that is Central Park South. Do I have a favorite artist? Monet. Would you like to buy me a Monet painting, Tamara? I believe it's only about $1 gazillion billion. But you can go right there to the Metropolitan Museum of Art and get me a Monet. Right there. That's the Metropolitan Museum of Art on 5th Avenue and 82nd Street. I highly recommend that museum. It's wonderful. Larky, my foot is healing nicely. Thank you for asking. Ryan, yes, Lady Gaga lives right along Central Park South where the trees begin. My favorite singer? Oh, I'm going to date myself. I'm a big fan of Phil Collins, although he really doesn't tour anymore. I've met Phil Collins. He's a gentleman and a total sweetheart. Central Park is about 845 acres. It runs from Central Park South all the way up to 110th Street. Well, thank you, Tamara. Tamara, while you're at it, you can also buy me that $250 million penthouse that's going up right there at 220 Central Park South. No, I did not misspeak. $250 million for the penthouse. Thank you, Jamie. Glad you like him too. What is my favorite place in New York City? My backyard, right there, Central Park. That's the Upper East Side. For those of you who follow Ron Waxman, that's where he periscopes from. And Vin Nolan NYC also periscopes from the Upper West Side on his roof deck as well. 220 Central Park South Penthouse, to my knowledge, has not yet been sold. It will be available in 2018, but you can make offers now if you're interested. $250 million for that penthouse. It will be the most expensive penthouse in the history of New York City. Down below, this right here is going to part of the same complex. This is going to be a Nordstrom's department store opening in 2018. Mary will be spending way too much money at this Nordstrom's department store when it opens. Oh yes, they're up here right now, Ryan. I'm just not putting the camera on them. There's always people up here on the roof deck for the most part, unless the weather's really bad. Or unless it's really late. Gary, too funny. You're afraid of heights? Well, then you can live on a lower floor if you'd like. Those apartments on the lower floors will probably only set you back about $5 or $6 million. Did I see my friend Marty 888 NYC just join here? If he is, I'd like him to put up some emojis because he's an amazing periscoper and I'd like to point him out to all of you. Mary oh, Tim, you're way, way, way too kind. Yes, Randy, it's not too nice out in New York. It's quite overcast. There's no sunset tonight and it was raining. The stock market, I think he left the scope, Sam, but his name is Chess and Wine. CHESSNWINE. Marty 888 NYC joined us, another wonderful periscoper. There he is. Do you see all the emojis? Marty 888 NYC is a phenomenal periscoper here in New York City. He does fantastic walking tours each and every day throughout the city. He has a vast history of New York City. I highly recommend you follow him as well. Let's continue around the roof deck. I want to show you a better view of that Upper West Side. No thunderstorms right now, but it was drizzling earlier. Marty is nice. Oh, yes, he is, Ryan. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Glad to hear that, Randy. Yes, T-Bear. Yes, he is, Daisy. Come here from Andy and Mary and Marty. Afraid of heights? Well, you don't have to be afraid of heights to watch these scopes. You just sit down on the lower floor and I'll be up here on the 37th floor bringing you these periscopes. Let's continue walking around the roof deck. Hopefully the signal will hold. It's a rainy, it was drizzling before. Oh, here comes the wind. Windy, drizzly. Here's another angle of Central Park that we just looked at. No place like New York indeed. Everyone should come visit. That's another view of Central Park. And let's continue walking around the roof deck. That's the famous Time Warner Center. The southern tower, or the left side tower, is multi-million-dollar apartments. The right side tower is the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. That building right there with the red lettering, that is the Hotel Empire. The Hotel Empire. Right across the street from that hotel is Lincoln Center. Let's continue walking around the roof deck. Can I see Hoboken from here? Hoboken is to the left of where I'm pointing across the Hudson River. You cannot see it from this roof deck. That's pointing to the Weehawken area of New Jersey, I believe. You went on a subway. Excellent. I take the subway every day to and from the office. It's not very nice out this evening. Yes, Marty, so true. Everyone follow Marty 888 NYC. He's just a true gentleman and a fantastic periscoper. What time is it now? It's bear with me, I'll get you time and temperature in a few minutes. That digital display is on the other side of the roof deck. That right there is the famous Columbus Circle area. Do you ever see the famous Columbus Circle area? I'll try not to, hippie. That is where the very last scene of Ghostbusters was filmed, with Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, the original Ghostbusters. That's Broadway facing north. Howard Stern lives in the West 60s, right off of Broadway in that direction. Do I watch Empire or Power? No, I do not. This tall, dark building is the Trump International Hotel and Tower at Central Park West and Columbus Circle. That is a view of the Upper West Side of Manhattan. No, it is not my penthouse. This is a roof deck of the building that I live in. I live on a much lower floor. I'm simply up on the roof deck to bring you this Periscope. Thank you, Tim. It is almost 7 p.m. in New York City. I will get you a temperature in about 30 seconds. I agree with you 100% blunt, but this is not a political Periscope. Someone asked about New Jersey. Let me give you a view of that right now. It is 6:56 p.m. in New York City. It is 62 Fahrenheit, 17 Celsius, but it feels much more cold than that. Someone asked about New Jersey. Right there is the Hudson River, and that land that you see on the other side of the Hudson River is New Jersey. Rick Paul, I'm on the 37th floor roof deck, Lemon, 37 flights up approximately. You watched Marty for the first time last night. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. He's an excellent periscoper. Spider-Man is down by Times Square, which I'm going to show you in about 10-15 seconds. Soprano country. Yeah, yes, the Sopranos filmed right across the river in New Jersey. And that river is the Hudson River. That's where Captain Sully Sullenberger made his emergency landing. Oh, Larky, I've been back at work for the last 2 weeks. I only took 2 days off when I fractured my foot. I only took 2 days off from work. Spider-Man is down by Times Square. Let me show you Times Square. That's where Spider-Man is. Your brother lives in Staten Island. My pleasure, California. I thank you for being here. Now, Tamara, behave yourself. Right down there is Times Square. That's where the flashing lights that you see are where Times Square is. That's where the theater district is. That's where the ball drops on New Year's Eve. The Freedom Tower is in the financial district about 5 or 6 miles to the south and to the west. You cannot see the Freedom Tower from this roof deck. There's too many buildings blocking it. Rowan, why do you always come on here and give a sad face? Tell me what's the matter. Sun Gold, thank you for being here. Tamara, you're too funny. How long have I lived in New York City? Well, I'm a lifelong New Yorker, but I've lived in New York City since the early 1990s. Good evening to you, Tori. I've been to the base of the Freedom Tower, but not to the top of it since it opened. I need to get down there and go to the top and periscope from there. Oh, Nemesis, you're way too kind. Hello, Red Dawn. This is Broadway down below. Broadway, the traffic is running in a southern direction along Broadway. Now, for those of you in the United States who want the tallest building in New York City is the Freedom Tower. Right there is the Ed Sullivan Theater. That is where Stephen Colbert tapes The Late Show. That is a landmark building, historic. The Ed Sullivan Theater, the Beatles played there in the 1960s. Yes, Madonna lives on the Upper East Side of New York City. I pointed out the Upper East Side when I showed you Central Park. It's my pleasure to bring you these periscopes, Larky. I thank all of you for being here. I'm the one that thanks you. It shouldn't be the other way around. I appreciate all of you. Randy loved the subway. I'm glad to hear it. Yes, Ryan, Colbert is probably taping right about now, or he just wrapped up. He tapes either 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, or 5. I'm not sure. Sometimes they just tape Monday through Thursday, and then on Monday they include Friday's show or something like that. But that right there is where David Letterman taped for many, many years, and when he retired, Stephen Colbert took over. Thank you, Randy. I zoomed in to show you Times Square. That is Times Square off in the distance. That's where the theater district is. And all that's not coming out very clear, that's the New Year's Eve ball right there. That is the actual New Year's Eve ball made of Waterford crystal that drops every year on New Year's Eve. A friend of mine a number of years ago saw Madonna at a restaurant, and she said she couldn't believe how short Madonna was. She always thought Madonna was tall, but she said Madonna could not have been more than 5'2" or 5'3". A little trivia for you there. I'm only 5'3", so believe me, that's not a criticism at all. I'm only 5'3". That is the City Spire Tower. By the way, the camera is facing east. I'm on the west side, but I'm pointing the camera east right now. This tall building is the City Spire Tower. The top half is multi-million-dollar apartments. The lower half is offices. I should go on Colbert. You're going to set it up for me. I would be a very boring guest. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate you, Peijen. You visit H&M on 42nd Street? Excellent. Now, let me show you the tallest residential building in Manhattan. Not the tallest building in Manhattan, the tallest residential building, not only in Manhattan, but in the entire Western Hemisphere. Right there. No, I'm only 5'3", Gary. But I wear heels. When my foot is not fractured, I'm in heels. So sometimes I am 5'6" or 5'7", but only when I'm in heels. But when I'm in my flats or my running shoes, I'm only 5'3". This right here is the tallest residential building in the Western Hemisphere. Hold on. This is 432 Park Avenue, the tallest residential building in the Western Hemisphere. The penthouse, oh, Jamie, the penthouse was put on the market for $95 million. A billionaire from Saudi Arabia put in an offer and said, I know you're asking $95 million. I'd like to pay $88 million. Will you accept that offer? And the developer of the building said, yes. So the penthouse sold to a billionaire from Saudi Arabia for $95 million. They closed at $88 million, and he gave the apartment to his daughter. Now, what did I do when I went home to see my father this past weekend or the weekend before? I asked my dad to buy me a penthouse, and he did not answer me. He just rolled his eyes and shook his head and did not even answer me. Can you believe it? Now, if you think 432 Park Avenue had an expensive penthouse, oh, that's nothing. That's cheap. Because this building, the penthouse is being put on the market for $250 million. No, I did not misspeak. $250 million for this penthouse across the street at 220 Central Park South. So if you're interested, please place your bids for the $250 million penthouse. Right now in New York City, it is 17 Celsius. It is 7:02 p.m. It is 62 Fahrenheit, and it is chilly up here. Settle for an ice cream cone? That is true, Lefty 87, 100% true. So the penthouse at 432 Park Avenue is indeed cheap compared to the penthouse at 220 Central Park South, no doubt about it. For those of you just joining this Periscope, we're in New York City. We're up on the 37th floor roof deck. We're facing south. Where you see those flashing lights, that is Times Square. That is where the ball drops on New Year's Eve. That is where the theater district is. HDZR. That is Broadway down below. Broadway is running in a southern direction from this vantage point of New York City. Well, I hope so too at past 7. Absolutely. They probably will, Alia, on their yacht or something. Let's take another look of the view facing west. We're now facing west. Once again, for those just joining, that is the Hudson River that you're looking at. And that land that you see on the other side of the river is New Jersey. That is New Jersey. Can you pull? Tim, my dad has got to, Jamie, too funny, Jamie. And that, once again, is a view of the Upper West Side of New York City. That's Broadway facing north. When I showed you Times Square a moment ago, you were looking south. Now you're looking north at Broadway. I mentioned earlier, Howard Stern lives in that direction in the West 60s right off of Broadway. This double-towered building on your left is the famous Time Warner Center. Lots of shopping and restaurants at the base of those towers. CNN broadcasts right out of that building. Caracas in the house. Well, come visit us in New York, Carlota. So I'm going to take you back to Central Park. Now it's getting dark. I don't know how clear Central Park will be, but let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. We have two very famous residents that live on Central Park South, Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett. Now I will not tell you which buildings they live in, but I will show you Central Park South. Pesek, good to see you back on here. Can you knock on his door? So I'm getting into position, hold on, to show you Central Park. Hey Lordship, good to see you. Now it's getting dark. I don't know how clear this is going to come out. At the beginning of the Periscope it was much better because it was still light outside. So hold on. Do you see it? That is Central Park facing north. I don't know how clear it's coming across on camera because it's dark out. That is Central Park facing north. How do I know all this? I'm a lifelong New Yorker. Anyone that lives in New York can show you this information. Absolutely. So Tony, he just turned, I think, 90, I think. But he's amazing. He still has an amazing singing voice. That is Central Park South, right down below where the trees begin. That's where Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett live. Different buildings, but they both live on Central Park South. Canada in the house. That is the Upper East Side of New York City, off in the distance. That's where Ron Waxman lives and does his roof deck periscopes. Vin Nolan NYC also lives in that direction on the Upper East Side. This is the new construction that we spoke about earlier. This is 220 Central Park South. I don't know where Martin lives, Shukeli. España in the house. He lives in Manhattan, but I don't know where. Rockefeller Center. I will show you. Do you see that building right there? Let me circle it. Whoa, hold on. That building right, whoa, wrong one. Hold on, right there. That's Top of the Rock. That's Rockefeller Center. That's where Jimmy Fallon films The Tonight Show. Right there. That's Top of the Rock, right there. That's where Rockefeller Center is. It's about a 10-minute walk from where I live. Detroit in the house. Down below, that's going to be a brand new Nordstrom's department store. That will open in 2018. You can see the traffic down below. That is going to be a Nordstrom's department store, and Mary will be spending way too much money when that department store opens. Florida in the house. That's the Time Warner Center. We spoke about that earlier. The left tower is apartments. The right side tower is the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. This tall, dark building on your right is the Trump International Hotel and Tower at Columbus Circle and Central Park West. Oh, I will be shopping at Nordstrom's when that opens. Make no mistake about it. Mary will be spending way too much money at that Nordstrom's department store. Let's continue walking around the roof deck. Who said that comment about Nordstrom? Is that Tori? Too funny. I do apologize if I missed your comments. If I missed your comment, please do not take it personally. I am not ignoring you. It simply just flew off the screen and I didn't see it. Oh, I agree with you. Just call me Kathy. I agree with you. But I do need to point out the buildings. I live in the epicenter. Oh, yes, I do, Ryan. So true. Do I have a job? Yes, I work down by Wall Street in communications. Hey, Gary. So let's continue walking around the roof deck. We're now facing north-northwest. This is the Upper West Side that the camera is pointing at. Now, I'm going to repeat myself for those of you who joined the Periscope earlier, but for those of you who just joined, that down below is the famous Columbus Circle area. Do you see it? That's where Home Alone filmed. Also, the original Ghostbusters with Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray filmed right there. The very last scene, you'll recognize it. That is the famous Columbus Circle down below. Now, if you remember from the original Ghostbuster movies, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man entered New York City right here and attacked the Ghostbusters. Now, this building, the Time Warner Center, did not exist when Ghostbusters was filmed. But right here is where the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man attacked the Ghostbusters. They neutralized him from right up there, and then they went down to Columbus Circle to celebrate. And that is where that all took place. You need to be a New York taxi driver. Sailboats in Central Park? No sailboats in Central Park that I'm aware of. Oklahoma City in the house. Let's go back to Times Square. Do I miss the... Oh, of course, that was a horrible day when the World Trade Center in 2001. Of course. You've been to Orlando, Florida twice, but you want to visit New York City. Of course, Larky. That goes without saying. Everyone must visit New York City. We're now facing west. That's New Jersey on the other side of the Hudson River. And here's another view that we just showed you of the Upper West Side. So let's go ahead and go back to Times Square, and then I do need to wrap this up. It is getting chilly. I'm getting a little cold, and I need to get back downstairs and get some dinner. It's my pleasure. Just call me Kathy. Thank you for being here. Yes, correct, His Lordship. That is where the New Year's Eve ball is. I pointed that out to you earlier. I don't know how clear it came across on the scope. Hey, Randy from New Jersey. Thank you for being here. So let me zoom in. I don't know how clear this will work. But right there, that is the actual New Year's Eve ball that drops every year on New Year's Eve. Take a boat on the Hudson. When the weather gets nice, I will. Gary, you're too funny. No, I do not wear fur, Damon. This is the closest you'll be in New York. No, you must come visit us in New York City. Hey, Maris Paz, thank you for the kind words. I'm glad that you enjoy it. And once again, for those in the United States who watch Stephen Colbert, right there, that's the Ed Sullivan Theater. He took over for David Letterman in September of last year, and that's where he tapes The Late Show. Oh, Tim, it's my pleasure. Sailboats, they might, Marty, you know what, Marty 888 NYC will know the answer to that question. They might during the summer rent out, but I know they rent out paddle boats and like canoe type boats in one of the lakes in Central Park, but I don't know about sailboats, but I could be mistaken. What's it like to live in New York? Oh, Lemon, come on, it's the greatest city in the world in my opinion. Chicago, in the house. Chicago is an amazing city. I love Chicago. I haven't been to Chicago in about 3 years. I need to get back out there. All right, everyone, I am going to go ahead. Yes, rowboats are in Central Park, absolutely. Marty said, oh, thank you, Marty. Appreciate that, Marty. Randy is on remote control. I'm not sure what you mean, Randy. Kentucky, in the house. All right, everyone, I do need to wrap this up. So I want to thank all of the replay viewers, and of course, I thank all of you who join me live. We always have such a fun group on here. I really appreciate all of you. And hopefully the weather will be a little bit nicer tomorrow and I can bring you a sunset, but only if the weather permits it. So until then, I want to wish all of you a wonderful evening, a salad larking. I want to wish all of you a wonderful evening. Have a fantastic night, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate that comment. Thanks for clearing that up. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. Bye for now.